Welcome to this deep dive. Today, we're setting our sights on a place that often conjures images of vast ice and, remote wilderness, Greenland. For this exploration, we've pulled together some pretty fascinating material. We dug into an article, Greenland, a land of ice, history, and natural wonders, and also looked at transcript snippets from a YouTube video called Visit Greenland. So our mission here is really to unpack these sources together. We want to extract the key insights about Greenland's unique history, its resilient culture, the stunning nature, and those top attractions. Basically giving you, the listener, a clearer, more insightful picture of this incredible autonomous nation within the Kingdom of Denmark. Okay, let's unpack this and discover what truly makes Greenland a world apart. Right, let's start with the story of the place. We learn Greenland is the world's largest island, yet wow, incredibly sparsely populated, less than 60,000 people call it home.
That number is just staggering when you think about the landmass.
It really is, and its history, we found, stretches way back, starting around 4,500 years ago with the arrival of the Inuit people from North America.
Yeah, and they didn't just survive here, they thrived. They deeply adapted their culture, relying on hunting and fishing in what has to be one of the most challenging environments on Earth.
Absolutely. That continuity is amazing.
What's fascinating here is just how long that indigenous presence has endured, adapting over millennia. When you look at the sources, you see this story of continuous ingenuity, really.
Definitely. But then, here's where it gets really interesting, I think. In the 10th century, a completely different group arrived, Norse Vikings, led by none other than Eric the Red.
Ah yes, the Viking chapter.
They established settlements, mainly in the south, that actually lasted for centuries. We saw details about Viking ruins from Eric the Red's, like 1,000-year-old colonies still visible today.
And the sources mentioned, at their peak, maybe 5,000 Norsemen lived there, spread out across Greenland.
Yeah, something like that, which, isn't insignificant for the time and place.
But this raises that important question the sources touch on, but don't definitively answer. Why did the Norse presence fade out by the 15th century?
Right, while the Inuit culture continued.
Exactly. This mystery itself, it's a profound insight into the unique challenges of long-term survival in Greenland's climate. It tells you something fundamental about the nature of this land.
It's a true historical puzzle kind of embedded right in the landscape. Okay, so fast forward quite a bit to the 18th century. That's when Denmark established its colonial presence. Greenland remained a Danish colony until gaining self-rule in 1979 and then getting full control over domestic affairs in 2009.
Though still remaining part of the Kingdom of Denmark. It's a complex status.
It is, and that transition is another layer in its complex history.
And throughout this entire timeline, as the sources really highlight, those harsh conditions forged this deep connection with nature and cultivated an incredibly resilient culture.
Yeah, resilient seems to be the key word.
Totally. Today, Greenland's population is primarily of Inuit descent. And you see this really compelling blend of traditional practices evolving right alongside modern influences.
And to really grasp this blend, the sources point to some key places. Nuuk, the capital founded way back in 1728, so it's one of the oldest settlements, is described as a vibrant city.
Right, a place that truly embodies this mix, traditional Inuit life and modern urbanity coexisting.
Exactly.
And if you're interested in sort of digging into that history and culture, we found some key spots mentioned. The National Museum of Greenland in Nuuk sounds like a must-see.
Oh yeah, what did they highlight?
Well, it features artifacts spanning everything from those early Inuit cultures right through the Vikings. They mentioned things like well-preserved hunting equipment, kayaks,
Wow.
and even a mummified Inuit woman offer this incredibly direct link to the past.
That's amazing. And it's not just the capital either, right?
No, exactly. The Katwat Cultural Center, also in Nuuk, showcases that indigenous heritage, but through modern creativity, exhibitions, events, that sort of thing.
And we saw mentions of smaller but equally insightful places like the Kokorpak Museum. That's in a fishing village, right? Rockbound, they called it.
Yeah, with distinct collections from Dorset, Thule, and Norse cultures, so you get different perspectives.
And even archaeological sites like the Surmermite settlement near Ilulissat.
Oh, right. Offering a tangible look at remnants from over 2,000 years ago. It just confirms that long, long history of adaptation.
Okay, so we've seen a history shaped by incredible adaptation and these enduring mysteries. Let's shift gears now to the natural wonders, because that's arguably what most people picture, when they think of Greenland.
Oh, absolutely. And topping that list, undeniably, is the Ilulissat Ice Fjord.
Right. UNESCO World Heritage Site since 2004.
Exactly. The sources make it clear why this is Greenland's most visited area. It's home to the Jakobshavn Glacier.
Which is famous for being one of the fastest moving glaciers on Earth. Like, incredibly fast.
That's the one. And this is where the real magic happens, these massive icebergs cap.
Meaning they just break off the glacier front and float out into the bay. It's spectacular.
It is. And what's remarkable, as we learn from the sources, is that unlike maybe other ice fjords, you can actually watch this awe-inspiring spectacle from the land.
That's pretty cool. You don't necessarily need a boat.
Right. Though, of course, taking a boat tour gets you right up close to these, well, frozen giants.
Yeah.
It must be incredible.
I bet. And for the adventurous, they mentioned hiking trails offer different perspectives.
And in winter, the whole landscape opens up for exploration by dog sledding. A totally different experience.
Wow. Okay, so connecting this to the bigger picture.
It really highlights how interconnected life and the landscape are there. The sources consistently mention that exploring by boat and local ferries isn't just like a tourist activity.
It's essential.
Yeah, it's often the best, or sometimes the only, way to see most parts of Greenland, including those mighty walls of ice you can only really appreciate from the sea.
Right.
Opportunities for sea excursions are absolutely vital to getting around and just experiencing the country.
Makes sense. And they noted specific months.
Yeah, for chasing icebergs and whale watching, June and July were mentioned as usually the best months,
Right.
prime time.
Fascinating how the water is so central to experiencing the land. Now, what about the Greenland ice sheet itself? That massive ice cap covering, what, 80% of the island?
Yeah, the big one. For that, Kangerlussuaq in western Greenland pops up in the sources as the perfect gateway.
Okay, Kangerlussuaq.
It's described as a hub for Arctic exploration, and it sits right at the end of the Sondrestrom which is one of the longest fjords anywhere in the world.
So from Kangerlussuaq, you can actually get onto the ice sheet.
Exactly. You can easily take tours right onto the ice sheet itself. Feel that immense scale.
And Kangerlussuaq isn't just about the ice, though?
No, it's also highlighted as a prime spot for wildlife viewing. The sources mention opportunities to see reindeer, Arctic foxes, maybe even polar bears from that area, if you're lucky.
Oh, polar bears.
And speaking of wildlife and just sheer vastness, the North Greenland National Park was mentioned.
That's the largest national park on the planet, right?
That's the one. Just enormous. A haven for more polar bears, musk oxen, Arctic birds, set amidst these stunning mountains, glaciers, and tundra.
Incredible scale.
And South Greenland National Park also gets a nod as another huge, remote wilderness area. Less known, perhaps.
Okay. Now, for something maybe a little different, a quieter experience.
Yeah, Disco Island, off the west coast, was described as a kind of hidden gem.
Disco Island. Okay.
It offers dramatic cliffs, these colorful houses in its main town, Kevertarsuaq, and beautiful fjords. You can enjoy hiking, kayaking, boat trips there too. More low-key, perhaps.
Sounds lovely. And interestingly, one source linked Disco Island back to Ilulissat.
Yeah, apparently you can get distant views of the Jakobshavn Glacier from there sometimes. It's all interconnected.
It really is. Okay, and imagine this, among all this ice and cold, hot springs.
I know, right? The sources point to this unique natural feature, hot springs found throughout Greenland.
Seriously, hot spring.
Yeah. The uninhabited island of Unartok is specifically mentioned. It has springs that are just the perfect temperature for bathing
No way.
in a small, naturally formed pool, surrounded by icebergs and these stunning mountain peaks.
That contrast is just unbelievable. Bathing in a hot spring looking at icebergs.
Pretty unique experience, I'd say.
That sounds absolutely surreal. Okay, and finally, something the sources universally highlight as a major, major draw at the Northern Lights. The Aurora Borealis.
Ah, yes. The big finale.
From September to April, basically when the skies are dark and clear, Greenland is apparently a prime viewing location.
Kangerlussuaq and the Ilulissat come up again as ideal spots. Good infrastructure, dark skies.
So if seeing the aurora is high on your list, winter travel is definitely recommended.
Absolutely. The sources don't mince words. They call it the biggest light show on Earth.
You can see why?
It's easy to see why. And really, experiencing that raw, wild landscape is the core activity, isn't it?
Seems like it.
Whether you're exploring by boat among icebergs, hiking those rocky trails, or especially doing dog sledding or maybe snowmobile tours when there's snow on the ground.
Right. Those activities offer such an exhilarating and direct connection to that unique environment. So, okay, We've taken a real deep dive into these sources. We've uncovered layers of Greenland's past, its enduring and resilient culture, and its truly remarkable natural landscape.
Yeah, from those ancient settlements and the whole Viking mystery.
To calving glaciers you can literally see from the shore, those surreal hot springs sitting amongst icebergs.
And of course, the spectacle of the dancing auroras. It's quite a package.
It really is. What stands out here, I think, as the sources consistently show, is Greenland's profound identity. It's this remote, often challenging, yes, but utterly breathtaking wonderland.
Absolutely. It offers adventure, definitely, but also tranquility and this really profound connection with nature. And with a unique human story of survival and adaptation woven through it all.
So for you, the listener, this deep dive into the sources hopefully provides not just, facts and figures, but a real sense of the scale and the wonder of Greenland and how humans have navigated its extremes for millennia.
Yeah. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, Greenland's story is such a powerful testament to continuous human adaptation and survival in one of the planet's absolute harshest environments.
Which really makes you think.
It does. Considering that deep mystery of how past settlements vanished and the ongoing, very real challenges of living with extreme ice and isolation, especially in a changing world, it raises an important question, doesn't it?
What's that?
Well, what will the future hold for the people and the landscape of Greenland as they continue to navigate such fundamental environmental and societal change?
That's a powerful thought to leave with. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.